This is the Geoffrey and Richie Show. All sports, all talk.
Hello there, and welcome to the Geoffrey and Richie Sports Show. I'm Richie Benno. Great to be here, I've got to say, and I'd like to welcome my colleague Geoffrey Boycott. Good morning, Geoffrey.
Morning, Richie. Morning, everybody.
How the devil are you?
I can't lie to you, Richie. I've got some oral issues going on. Number one, the jaw on the right-hand side. I've got real issues. I can't close my mouth fully without exceptional pain. Number two, I've burnt my tongue earlier.
Are these things we should have talked about before we press record?
You asked me how I was.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I've been talking to you about 45 minutes since you got here, and you haven't mentioned. Have you been saving them?
I have actually.
They're your coup de grace for this week.
Yeah, well, you asked me how I was, and I just thought I'd tell you quite literally.
So, aside from the jaw/oral issues, how did you burn your tongue?
I just ate my dinner too quickly. It was hot.
Well, really? Thanks for explaining that. Brilliant. Well, yes. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you're not on top form, but I'm sure it won't detract from you giving a splendid account as always.
Well, I'll do my best.
Where do you want to start?
Well, there's only one place really I can start because, as we discussed in the 45 minutes prior to the beginning of the show,
yes,
I've only really got one subject.
Yeah, you have. Haven't you?
So I guess it's going to be football.
Go on then. I've heard of football. Tell me about football, or even Geoffrey, football. Go.
I'm almost reluctant to begin with the subject that I want to talk about most. But
should we talk about something else then, football related?
Okay. Well, how about we talk about something positive, certainly from your point of view, in that West Ham seem to have turned a corner.
Yeah. I've got to be honest. When I was doing my preparation notes, obviously the Villa result last night was awesome. I haven't been as nervous through a football match for a long time. I've got to say, I thought it was such a big game last night. I think my views of West Ham and their plight has been pretty well documented on this show.
Well, they've
been really worried.
They've been paralleled with my concerns over my team in terms of the form both our sides have been going through. But
true, different levels.
Well, slightly.
Actually, to be honest with you, only slightly. A couple more wins for us, and it really will be only slightly.
Exactly.
But yeah, I've been really worried, and the Arsenal game, well, obviously
that seemed to be the turning point. Isn't it?
Well, it was fantastic. I mean, in fairness, we were down and out. I did actually watch the game on the Sunday after your Liverpool game, and it was I felt like we won the game. I really did, and then going to Sunderland, I've got to be honest, I was disappointed to have only got a point.
You'd have to be, but
after
still.
the way the game went. Beforehand, I'd have taken it, obviously. That's why I just thought last night was just massive. And to be honest, to take 4 points, just in the last two games, Sunderland and Villa, who probably before the season, I'd think, well, they're going to be our competitors, if you like, in terms of where we'd be in the league. Obviously, it hasn't quite panned out that way. But to take 4 points like that, I mean, Sunderland are a good team, especially at home.
And so are Villa. I mean, let's think Villa beat Liverpool at Anfield.
Well, yes, absolutely.
And that is no mean feat.
Well, I think it is. But yeah, I'm just absolutely made up, and I'm so pleased. We so rarely get late winners, and the way it just panned out last night was just awesome.
It was your man Hines again, wasn't it?
Oh, it was Zavon. It was Zavon. In fact, I tweeted at the end of the game that I'm going to call my second son Zavon. I haven't run it past Mrs. Richie Benno yet, but I'm sure she'll be on with it.
Oh, absolutely. Who wouldn't be?
Exactly. Zavon Benno, that would go down brilliantly. There's a kid that would get picked on at school. but yeah, so that's all the positive stuff I've got to say. Over to you.
Well, I guess it is time to talk about.
Oh, it's
Liverpool.
trouble. It's trouble, isn't it?
It's big.
It was the first big game of the season last night, I thought. I mean, it was the first truly big game of the season, I thought, last night.
Do you mean in the Champions League, or do you mean...
I actually mean in general, because at this stage of the season, league games, okay, it's not great for United to lose, 2-0 and everything else, but then Liverpool go and lose to Fulham, and it's meaningless, really. But I thought last night was genuinely massive. I mean, you are technically still in it, am I correct in saying that?
Apparently we are.
What's the scenario, Geoffrey? Talk me through what you need. You must just need 2 wins.
We certainly need 2 wins. We also need Lyon to beat Fiorentina. If Lyon draw with Fiorentina, we have to beat Fiorentina 3-0.
Is that in Fiorentina?
I
can't remember where whether it's home or away. No, it's not. It's at home, isn't it?
I think it is at Anfield.
Yeah, I think it is.
I mean, we've also got a game against Debrecen,
right? Yeah.
Who everybody beats.
Right.
I think indeed they are our next opponents in the Champions League. So,
right. So let's assume you win that one.
Well, okay. Let's give us the 3 points there, and then it's all going to come down to, or essentially what happens between Lyon and Fiorentina.
So
as to what we then.
If Fiorentina beat Lyon, it's all over. You're saying that Lyon have to beat Fiorentina or draw against them?
Yeah. If Fiorentina beat them, we're stuffed.
Right. Okay. And I don't expect you to know this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Do you know if that game is in Lyon or in Fiorentina? Oh, sorry, in Florence.
Very interesting from you. I don't know. No.
Okay.
Come on. I mean,
I put you on the spot there. I
should know. Test me too much here.
I should know these kind of things.
But yeah, I think just in general, it's highlighted again for the umpteenth time just how important Torres and Gerrard are, and there's just a massive question mark over the fact that certainly Torres is currently playing through an injury, and Gerrard doesn't appear to be able to overcome an injury. I believe they're both similar in that they're either hernias or groin-related injuries. Gerrard is obviously worse, and there is the suggestion that certainly one, if not both, is going to need an operation at some stage. It's just a question of when.
Well, you've got to think that if let's say you don't win the next game and you're out of Europe, just chuck them in for surgery. Surely you're not winning the league.
No,
you're not winning. You're not going to obviously be out of the Champions League.
Let me tell you this: our next game is against Birmingham.
Okay, you can tell me that. What's your point? My
point is this: we should be able to get a result there. If we don't, I honestly think. It must be really, really difficult for a manager to think to himself, if I haven't got these two players in my side, they make such a difference to the confidence and the way in which my team play. Well,
you say it must be difficult for him, but he must have been thinking this for about 18 months now.
Well, yeah, indeed.
Certainly over the summer, it would have highlighted to him even more that point, having sold the third best player in the team.
I think, though, I think what I'm trying to say is that these players are crucial, but it seems that neither of them are able to get over this injury. So when do you time the operations?
It wouldn't. For me, it wouldn't be out of character for. You have to kind of follow me through on this one, but for Benitez to put them in for surgery at any given point on the basis that if he admits that he can't put them in for surgery, he's basically conceding that it is now a two-man team, for want of a better phrase. And he won't concede that, so therefore he could chuck them in for surgery at any point on the basis that, well, we've got enough talent here, our squad's good enough to cope with it, end of. And that's...
certainly...
It just wouldn't surprise me if he did that.
No.
He is controversial these days, mate.
Geoffrey and Richie.
Right, there's a little taster of this week's show with Geoffrey and Richie. If you want to listen to the full version, including more football talk, some talk about golf, various other sports, and also the winners and losers from the past 7 days in sport, do look us up on iTunes. We are the Geoffrey and Richie Sports Show. Also, check out our blog. The web address is www.geoffreyandrichie.libsyn.com, and also follow us on Twitter, where our username is G&R_podcast. There'll be a new show next week.
This is the Geoffrey and Richie Show. All sports, all talk.